You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast.
Hi everybody, this is Joe.
And I'm Fioraliz. Welcome back to the Esoterics Podcast.
Yay, we're back together again.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah, what's that song? Two of a Kind or something. Remember that show way back? Tom Hanks and yeah, right? Two of a Kind. I don't know what the hell that was, but anyway, whatever. Insert some song that Bosom Buddies. Okay, you were like probably super young when that show was on too.
I watch TV Land, so
Right.
I am like oddly
Yeah.
well versed on some old shows.
You know what's a good channel to watch is Comet. Do you get Comet in your package?
I don't know.
Your
I don't
digital
have cable right
package?
now, but I'm gonna get it, so I'll look. What is it like that? Is it like retro TV?
Yeah, like yesterday I was working on some projects at my metalsmithing bench, and all day long I streamed Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like the original, the series. Yeah, so that was on all day, and then they do like what's the other one? The other one's X-Files they have on there, so they have like a lot of those old vintage shows, which aren't really vintage, but
Yeah, no, right. Cue the old feeling.
Right?
Like this is retro now.
I know.
No, I used to watch I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, that's retro for sure.
Yeah, Green Acres, Petticoat Junction, Mr. Ed. I used to love those shows. Yeah, those were all on TV Land.
Oh, yeah. TV Land, right?
Yeah,
right.
I
TV
loved
Land.
those shows.
I don't know if I have TV Land in my package. I have YouTube TV and I have Hulu for live TV. So I have two packages. One is gifted to me, and the other one is I actually pay for. But the new digital packages are weird because anytime you want a specific channel, you have to add it in.
Oh,
like you have to pay for them. So yeah, it's not. I don't have just like cable. I have Roku sticks with all these apps that I use.
I don't even think TV Land is like how it used to be, because that's when I would have watched it would have been like the late 90s. So I mean, if they still have that channel, I'm sure it's like 80s stuff now or something. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff from 30 years ago now. But yeah, and that's where I used to love those shows, and some of them used to do the crossover thing where you'd get the one character from like Petticoat Junction that come like be on Green Acres. I live for that shit. Like I love it so much. So like when Marvel does it, like when Marvel does the crossovers into like one movie to the other, whatever, I just I have prepped my whole life for this. I live for this. I love it. It's my favorite.
Thank you. Me too. Especially with Marvel. I am obsessed with Marvel. This is a new thing within the last couple of years since COVID, I think. But yeah. I love all of the Marvel characters, and I want to know exactly what their backstory is. And I think the latest one out is Thor. I haven't seen that one yet. You have to go to the theaters and see that. So
yeah, we haven't gone to see it either, and I don't want anyone to spoil it for me. So
okay, so don't tell anybody. Have you seen the new Top Gun?
I haven't. No, Mike went on like a boys' night, and he went and saw it, and that was.
Did he like it?
Oh yeah, he really liked it. Did you? You watched it?
It was better than the first, I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. So I have issues with Tom Cruise because he's kind of a douchebag. His religion is culty and creepy, and all of his women divorce him. So I mean, but iconic Tom Cruise, the the characters, the character of Maverick. It was such a fun Such a fun movie to watch. And then, and because I think I've mentioned this before, I have this secret desire, dream to be two things in this lifetime: a super famous singer like Gaga,
Mhm.
and or a fighter jet pilot.
Those are two very
Hmm.
different random things.
I know, right? They have to be based in past life or future life or something, or
Sure.
alien
Yeah,
life. I have no idea.
that's fun.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I think I would get like really nauseous being a pilot. That makes me nauseous just
Fighter.
thinking about it. Yeah, no.
Oh my god, fighter pilot, right? Like Mach 10. Okay, so if you could, what's your secret, passionate, like super secret desire?
Oh, like if I could be anything?
Yes.
Oh, dude, what would I do? I think I'd be like probably like an actor, I think.
Yeah.
Like if I was any good at
That's
acting, yeah,
yeah.
I would.
Okay.
They seem to
So a
have like kind of
celebrity.
a fun life. Yeah, well, a kind of.
Okay.
But more for like the acting part of it and like the cool things you get to do.
Okay. All right. See. All right. Well, we'll go on tour together. You act and I'll sing, and then on the weekends I'll fly us around in my fighter jet.
Okay.
And if you get sick, then you just barf in the bag. Very simple.
Thanks. Thank you.
See, isn't this better? This is better than just me talking.
I enjoyed that though. Thank you for doing that. That was
You did.
I still enjoyed listening to you, even because I'm just talking to you, and even though everyone can't hear me, it's fine. I was there.
And you were talking back. Didn't you say that Mike was like, this girl sounds like Joe?
Yeah, and we were in the car and I was listening to it, and then he goes, "This girl sounds like Joe," and I'm like, "That's because it's Joe."
He like, she's cheating on you.
No, I told him. I told him what was happening. Yeah. I think when you recorded that was like when we were on our day back from New York. That was the day we had to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was right.
Yeah. I had meant to record it a lot sooner than that, and I had meant for it to just be like a 30-minute thing, which I don't think it was super long, but I mean, I had meant for it to be very, very short, but getting
Mhm.
through all of those astrological signs was a bit much. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Anytime you
it's
do an astro thing, it takes you don't realize that it takes a while.
yeah. And actually, when I re-listened to it after I'd posted it, it's the first episode where I'm like, I'm gonna redo that. It needs to be redone, shortened, like there's just, you know what I mean, like
Uh-huh.
editing, all that stuff. So,
Sure.
it might make its way back eventually
Yeah.
as
Yep.
a repost. Anyway,
All right. So you have announcements for us?
oh, I have a ton of announcements, guys. So I have a new website. I launched it. It is joefigueras.com. And you can still type in thewokakashic.com. You'll just be redirected to my new website. But this is my one-stop shop. It is, and I'm super proud of myself because I did it all on my own. I rebranded. I did all the tech on my own, which I've mentioned on here that I am terrible at tech. Fioraliz always handles the tech because I get super frustrated and I'm like, right? But I did it and I'm super proud of myself. So this new website has a couple really cool things. So it's got what's called the Akashic Shop, where I'm going to list all of my jewelry. I have a new line of goodness coming out, sun catchers, lots of Himeli inspired designs, sacred geometry sun catchers. But also, I'm creating this thing called energy amplifiers, and then they have a crystal that can be switched out. So look for those.
Oh, that's so
Um,
cool.
Oh, this was so fun because I was just playing with the Himeli tubes, trying to figure out how to work with them, how to hide the wire, that sort of thing, just playing. And I came up with this triangle. And then, I'm like, all right, well, how do I hang something from just the triangle that sits on your desk?
Yeah.
So, um, I figured that out. And then I did some Googling to see some other pictures because, there's stuff all on the web. And
Yep.
so I'm still working on it. It's still a little bit rustic, but it's very cool. It sits on top of maybe affirmations or journaling or
Uh,
intentions or, whatever, it sits on top of that, and then that amplifies the energy, and then you meditate over that. So
wow. Wow.
yeah, we should do like a video
Yeah,
demonstration of that and post that. Let's do it.
for
Yeah,
sure. For
it's
sure.
really cool. But then I also have an area where you can download classes, digital classes. You can download meditations now. So honestly, all the things that I said that I've been working on that I want to offer, they're all there in the Akashic Shop. So anytime I have a new drop, I'll make an announcement there on the socials.
Very cool.
All the classes going forward, I've decided, are going to be digital downloads.
Okay.
Occasionally I'll do live classes. Meditations will some of them will be live, and then like I have a class coming up on July 24th called Intuitive Deepening for Mental Health Practitioners. So it's intuitive development just for mental health practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because we had a couple mental health practitioners that wanted to go to the retreat, but they couldn't because some of their clients were at the retreat as well.
Oh,
So they really have to, strengthen those boundaries of separation of, clinician and, that sort of thing.
yes.
And so I thought this would be a really good way to give back because they also need intuitive development classes and all those
Yeah.
things. So yeah, so I'm excited about it. Just for mental health practitioners.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah.
So. Let's see what else. Um, Moon meditations; those I will do live. Or I'm sorry, I will either do those live or pre-record them, but I will drop them in the Akashic Shop in order to give you time to actually listen to them on the day of like the new moon and the full moon. But
Hmm.
I'll figure out the summer schedule and let everybody know these are the dates. This is what I will have available, and this is when you can download that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing about the website is that I'm going to be offering a new reading called a soul contract reading.
Oh.
And yeah, so this reading is going to take, it's going to dive into the actual soul contracts between two people, three people,
Okay.
a group, or whatever. Yeah, so I'm excited about that one.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. You want to be my guinea pig?
Of course, yes. Because
Yay!
you can
Okay,
use
let's
it
do it.
so many ways, like with work, with obviously with like
Yep,
love relationships, right? That's like the first go-to. But you could use it with like your parents, your siblings, your work friends or whatever, your coworkers, like all this. Yeah, there's so many ways to do it. That's so cool.
yep. What is the challenge, the issue, the beef between this person? Where does it originate from? Show me the past life, show me the contract, show me the
Hmm.
reason that came together. So, in my readings, a lot of times people will say, well, I have this challenging relationship with this person or that person. And I'll say,
Hmm.
well, let's look at the soul contract and find out why. Why is it challenging? And honestly, the Akashic Records provides details. The purpose of the contract, why you came together, what the initial intent of the relationship was meant to show you, teach you, how it was meant to make you grow, where along the lines one or more people came out of alignment with the original soul purpose,
Mm.
what that has then created, and what they're being out of alignment where it originates. So, a lot of times, like let's say husband and wife come together in a past life, the husband was a terrible provider. In this life, he's meant to balance that karma to be a really good provider or provide in a positive way,
Hmm.
but then he goes offline again, and
Hmm.
then we go, well, why? And then the Akashic records will trace it back to his father in
Uh,
this lifetime.
hmm.
So it really helps with perspective and understanding. But yeah, it's a fun reading.
That's
It's
fun.
one that happens within an Akashic reading, and I thought, well, why not just make the entire reading about
Yeah.
the soul contract?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good. All right, good. Let's do it.
That's dope.
We'll schedule a test run.
Okay. Let's do it.
Let me see. Other than the fact that I'm doing live in reading persons here in Portland at Psychic Sister on Alberta, go to psychicsister.com to check out those dates and book with me. A 30-minute Akashic reading is $75. And then I also offer the soul contract, 30-minute and 60-minute soul contract readings. Um, and I'm pretty sure that's it for all of my announcements. Yeah, other than follow me on the Instas, please. Joe Figueroa's Kashik Reader, Joe Figueroa Studio.
Yeah.
And
You're a
then, of
busy lady.
course, I'm a busy lady these days, and it's super fun.
Yes.
But then, of course, always, always, if you don't follow Esoteric Podcast on Instagram, please follow us. We really, really, really love watching that membership, that the followers grow. So,
Yeah.
okay, what are we going to talk about this week?
Okay, so today we are finishing up our conversation about Mary Magdalene,
Okay.
which I
Yay.
think it came at a good, appropriate time. Seeing all this thing that's going on with women's rights is to kind of talk about her, because we've in our previous conversation we kind of touched on how just the thought of, if we had known that Jesus had an equal with whom he taught and went out, and worked with in the way that he actually did, and to recognize her from the beginning, if we were actually raised that way, if for those, especially for those of us that were raised in a Christian or Catholic household, um, and how that could definitely just change the way that you are as a woman, or if you're feminine, in your femininity, to know that you matter and that you're not less than a man, and that you can be an equal. um but I had talked about and just touched on in that first conversation, we talked about, there's this thing that um supposedly Jesus, like, removed seven devils from Mary Magdalene. And then that's where, I don't like, that's, and then that she was healed, and this was proof that she was now like worthy of his teachings or something like that. So
So therein lies the whole, well, he saved her, and so then she became.
exactly. But it doesn't really make so much sense. Again, we have to think of, okay, part of this work for me is really the decolonization of my faith, and being able to acknowledge not just Jesus but also Mary Magdalene as like the ascended masters that they are, and
Right,
not so much as like these like holier than thou,
right.
especially Jesus person from the Bible, and like taking everything in the Bible as literal. It's
Yep.
understanding that the Bible it's fucking metaphors,
Mm-hmm.
and some of it doesn't make any sense, like, really, if you're trying to do it literally. um but um so these seven devils thing, there's just kind of theories out there, because it doesn't actually get spelled out exactly what the seven things were. There's in the Bible, there's the seven signs, and so the seven signs appear in the book of John. And so, like, it's, these, it's like the changing water into wine, the healing the paralytic person in Bethesda, feeding 5,000 people, those things, and like Jesus walking on water. And then the other ones, which I wasn't super familiar with, was one healing the a royal official's son in Capernaum, and healing the blind man from birth, or who was blind from birth. So those are the seven different. They're called the seven signs or the seven miracles that
Mm.
that that Jesus performed, or that he did, and that was proof of who he was and what he was capable of. um but really, what these things are meant to show us is that, because when he after he performs each one of these things, Jesus then talks to whoever he just, did this to, and he basically just says that, like, you are one with God, and I am one with God, and that's why we are able to do this. So it's not just like him putting himself on like this higher pedestal of like, oh, like I am almighty, like I can do all this. No, it's reminding you that because source lives within you, you are also capable of these great miraculous things.
See, so the truth, I mean, the truth that I feel that the universe is based on is, right, oneness. We are all of one. We're just appearing separate in these 3D physical forms so that we can have different experiences, because all of those experiences um, contribute positively to the collective, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So every time we talk about the Bible, we talk about religion, we talk about all of those things, mythology, all that stuff, there's always this nugget of true truth in it,
Yes.
like you just talked about, right? Jesus knows that we are all one. My leg is tingling. Um, that we are all one, and that it's not about religion. Religion has zero to do with God. It has zero
Yeah.
to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
Religion is a man-made construct,
Yeah.
and thus the stories contained within the Bible, which I'll talk about that
Yeah.
later in the closing vibe. But
Yes. So so this is kind of something that I just wanted to further talk through with you is, so first of all, we talked about the Bible itself is only a few years out of Jesus's life. Like there's
yeah,
like, it's like his 30s, right? And he died at 33. So we don't know what he did, where he went, where he was in his 20s. Like we just don't, right? Like he basically was a child, he was a teenager, and then all of a sudden he's an adult. So we just skipped like a lot of time there. So kind of sus, right?
the Bible is sus. That's all we need to say.
If you want a whole picture of a man, you're not going to just skip out on those formative years of his life. But what him and Mary were really out doing, and him and the like everyone's going to say like him and the apostles, but yes, it was him and the apostles, but Mary was the apostle of the apostles. She was the main person. um she was his counterpart, however you want to slice it. Like if you want to say that that was his wife, that's up to you. I mean, I don't think it matters. Honestly, I don't think it matters. I
Hmm.
don't think it makes a difference as to who she was as a master, as a teacher, as everything, that as a healer, whether or not they were married. I think it doesn't change anything. um
No.
I think that's like, if you want to add to it, add to the story or whatever, like I don't think it affects the story. But anyway, um so what they were out teaching people was just that, like being one with yourself and knowing oneself, and then what that does for everyone else, like sharing love and sharing the heart, and how everything comes from within. um and that's kind of a dangerous thing to like the organization of the church, because when you tell
Sure is.
people, yeah, that everything you need can be found, like, that love comes from within, and then you can
Hmm.
have that, and then out it comes, and then you can be a good
Hmm.
person, that you don't need this person to like hold you accountable, that you don't need to
Mm-mm.
show up to this building once a week or
No.
however often in order to be a good person. Like,
And my question is, so why the fuck do I have to tithe? Because if this comes from within, shouldn't that money that's going to be used come from within, from the person that it's going to, right? So, nah, keep my money.
I mean, tithing, I think, is a different. It's like that's more like talking about like manifestation, right? Of
Mm,
like, if I'm a fountain for things. I'm not saying like give the money to the church. I'm not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying like, if
no.
I am free giving with my things, then things will freely come to me. Um, and I don't think that needs to like happen through the church. I think you can tithe in your own ways, and do good and spread your good fortune with other people, without having a church holding you accountable without having the church hand you a tray to stick money in.
Exactly, right. So anything that can be taught that you have to do, or that a church encourages you to do, if you do that on your own, yes, then you're working with the universal laws, like the
Mm-hmm.
12 universal laws. That one being the law of attraction, the law of manifestation, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And they can all be done within a different energy than, these are the rules, and if you don't follow them, you're going to go to hell.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, uh, going back to these seven devils, or the seven things that were removed from Mary Magdalene. So, I don't really think that that's the way that it should be meant to be looked at, as far as like
Yeah.
removing these seven things. Because if you look at it in a way of that they were levels or powers that she worked through. So like the first form is darkness. So darkness, that's like your spiritual awakening, right?
I was
Like,
just going to say,
yeah,
yep,
that's that
yep,
darkness. Okay.
yep.
And then the second is desire. So these are also linked to like the seven deadly sins, right? The
Yep,
desire.
desire can be linked to manifestation too.
Yes. So second is desire, manifestation. Yes. And the third is ignorance. But the opposite of ignorance is knowing, right? But you have to first have ignorance about thing and recognize that you have ignorance about something, so that then you can then do something about it, right? But if you don't know that you don't know, like, where's the knowledge going to come from? But that's the first step to integrating these things. Okay. Fourth one is the zeal for death. So I think that's part of just coming to terms with mortality, and just understanding that our life on earth is short, but that it doesn't matter, because you're here for a purpose, and you enjoy the
Mhm.
time while you have it. um the fifth is the kingdom of the flesh. So
Mm.
sex. um the sixth is the foolish wisdom of the flesh, which is interesting.
The foolish wisdom of the flesh. So five is the. Tell me again.
Kingdom.
Five is
The
the
kingdom
kingdom of the
of the
flesh.
flesh. And the sixth is the foolish wisdom of the flesh.
Oh, okay. All right. Six is. Hold on here. I'm making notes here because I want to liken these to something.
Yeah, so I think the kingdom of the flesh is more like knowing yourself and your body, like your personal knowledge of your body. And then I think the
Yep.
sixth would be more like of carelessly sharing your body with others.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
then the seventh is the wisdom of the wrathful person, which I think is a very interesting way to put that.
The wisdom of the wrathful person.
Yeah.
The wisdom, oh, maybe the wisdom, the lesson to be found in our challenges, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. I also think that that speaks a lot to like ego,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, when yes, you know that you know something, but it's that getting to the point in your life where you don't always have to be right. You know what I mean? Of like letting yourself, like, even though you know you're right, you don't always have to prove that you're right.
Okay.
So those are
Okay.
the seven powers of wrath.
Okay, can I
Yes.
this came to me when you're saying them. Darkness you can liken to, we said, ascension or awakening, but you can
Hmm.
also liken that to, the Fool tarot card.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Desire, you can liken that to the Magician, manifestation,
Uh-huh.
where you realize, wait a minute, okay. Ignorance and knowledge can be likened to the High Priestess, because the High Priestess realizes she has all of the knowledge. You can also
Yes.
liken that to the Hermit. The Hermit goes within to look for the
Mm.
knowledge, or, the Hierophant.
Yes.
The Hierophant.
Mhm.
Death, obviously, likened to death. Kingdom of the Flesh, we can liken that to the Lovers.
Okay. Yeah.
Foolish wisdom of the flesh, we can liken that to the devil, because the devil is all about your own worst enemy, that sort of thing, making the wrong
Mm-hmm.
decisions. And
Okay.
then the wisdom of the wrathful person, that one was interesting. We can liken that to judgment, or we
Yeah.
can liken that to maybe like the moon. The moon is our shadows, or even the world where you've reached maybe, this realization of, now I can see the
Yeah.
wisdom in my challenges. So much symbology in these seven.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah. So if you look at these things though, you can see them for what it was, that it's not some like literal exorcism that, that he
No,
removed these things from her, but it's more of like an indoctrination into like the inner mysteries of life and of yourself, which in turn like Mary masters, like these are
right.
lessons that she's learning to integrate in through her life and that she's mastering, and then that's when she becomes a teacher alongside him.
Yes, her soul journey, her spiritual journey.
Yeah, because if you look at it, it's all powers or lessons that we all learn, like we all go
Yep.
through. So it's not meant to bring us shame. It's You're meant to learn from them, to transcend them, to move beyond them. Don't Again, it's like that integration, and really all you're doing when as you do this, because you never stop, is that you are experiencing the fullness of your humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. See the beauty in this once you just start picking it apart. You know what I mean? There's just so many holes in the Bible that,
Yeah.
it's just, it's, I don't believe that it is a legitimate form of historical, you know, information.
No, no, and well, also that it's just been so convoluted by all the different translations of it, and that stuff that's been added or removed, or just straight out like not um um not included with it. Like the
Hmm.
Gospel of Mary Magdalene clearly existed, like it existed and it went around and it was popular at some point. It was probably popular like, shortly after the resurrection, but at some point it was buried because it didn't fit within the teachings of every other book that's in the Bible, and then that's a lot of it is like shame and repentance, and you're bad, so that's why you need God and all of that stuff.
How to
It
control people, how to
Yeah,
control people.
it
Pit them
doesn't jive.
against each other and shame them. And there you go. People will stay controlled.
Yep, it doesn't jive with the state of control or shame or whatever. So, um so that kind of ties all of that together, and really
Cool.
understanding what the seven things were. And again, the seven chakras, if you can also tie those things to like the different areas of your heart, right? Like, I'm
Hmm.
sorry, the different chakras, like chakra systems can line up as seven. um and actually I would like to do an episode where we talk about how science has proven the chakra system, because
Uh,
yeah,
please.
because I
Like,
just heard about
yes.
this. Yeah, I just heard about this, but I want to like talk more about it, and I just think it's really cool because it's science has proven the chakra system. So for anyone who thinks it's like a bunch of woo nonsense, it's not.
Please. We live for showing you the science behind the woo. It's what
Yeah.
we do.
Okay. So I wanted to end this with like these couple of examples, a few examples, because we're kind of tying it back to what we're talking about, the feminine coming back into power. And if we're questioning like what the fuck is happening with this whole Supreme Court shit and like women's rights being taken away, sometimes you have to what is it, like poke the bull, you have to wake up the bull to get him going, and sometimes it's just what it takes. But just talking about the way that, although Jesus didn't give like an explicit teaching on how to treat women, or like his, even like his relations with women, it's very clearly seen how he intended, like how he himself treated women, right? Like lead by example, right? Because he treated women as people. He didn't view them in terms of sexual temptation or sexual gratification. He neither avoided nor catered to them. And he didn't create new categories or rules for them as women, but he approached them as responsible and capable individuals. He allowed women to transcend their culturally defined roles, and he did not assess their value according to the role of wife or mother, but viewed them in relationship with himself. Jesus encouraged women to serve to the best of their ability, and he did not specify areas of ministry for women's or areas of ministry for men. And rather, he affirmed women as they took their own initiative in the exercise of whatever their gifts were, is how he acknowledged them. And then overall, it's his approach appealed to women. Like you see it throughout, there's different examples of that throughout the Bible. And so this causes me to question, it's like, if you do still belong to a church, like how does that church view women? Like as I was reading this, I
Hmm.
turned to Mike, and I, because we did used to go to just like a non-denominational Christian church, and I asked him, like, do you ever remember having a female pastor or someone coming to give a sermon who wasn't also accompanied by her husband? Like we never, I never saw
Yeah.
it. Never.
Wait, did the husband stand on the stage?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like the both of them. If there was a woman, it was like they were both giving a sermon, but it was never just like a woman alone in any capacity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember the last time that I ever attended an organized religion. It was
Hmm.
Mother's Day, and I don't even know what year it was. It was back in like 2012, 13, I don't know. And it was Mother's Day, and it was my sister's church. And she's like, hey, come. And I'm like, okay, whatever, right?
Hmm.
And the pastor, the mother, I'm sorry, the pastor's wife was up there, and the whole time she said, women have one job, and it's to have children. It's to be mothers.
Oh my God.
And if you don't, um, what is your life? It's not fulfilled if you don't. And I sat there and I'm like, I don't want kids. So you're telling me that I am going to have an unfulfilling life and that I
Yeah.
have no purpose. And I just remember leaving there and honestly saying, I will never, ever set foot in another church again for the
Hmm.
purpose of sitting down and listening to a sermon, because they just devalued my entire fucking existence. And I
Yeah.
was just like, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done with organized religion.
Yeah.
So so and that all had to do with motherhood and, not on Mother's Day, you could focus on the power of women, the power of divinity, the power of feminine, all of these wonderful things, but you choose to focus on the one thing,
Yeah.
which is birth and babies.
Judgment of those who have opted to not have children, like that's where you
Yep.
went. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where you go with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
That's right up there with the ones who take Father's Day and use it as an opportunity to shit on the dads that weren't around. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not a father, that's not a dad, that's a fucking sperm donor. Quit giving it more gas. Like I get, like, I don't know, like go to therapy.
it's true. No, it's true though. I mean, another episode that we need to have is, the role of the male in society, and how, this excessive masculization of males
Mhm.
actually does not support male empaths or male sensitives, or
Mhm.
just a goddamn male who just wants to raise a kid and have a family without all these stupid ass stereotypes being put on them, that you
Yeah.
must be strong and you must provide and you must do all these things. Of course they want to fucking provide. It's their fucking family. But,
Right.
yeah, we
But you can
look
be a
here.
team. Yeah, but you're allowed to be a
You can be a
team.
team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It- so I was just reading something recently and I don't remember what it was or where it was because I would love to read that. But it was all about the original, just what you were talking about with Jesus, how the
Hmm.
original focus of the male and the female was to balance each other. It was
Yeah.
not for one, there was no hierarchy. There's
Hmm.
no, you're stronger, so you're better, right? Because honestly, men, all of the woes in our world right now are the result of men. They're, you know, wars, shootings. I mean, women, they're women assholes too, but right
Yeah.
now the problems lie at the feet of men.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we love our men, but god damn, we need the right ones in power.
Seriously. And we got to raise the right ones for those of us
We have to
raising the
raise the
boys.
right
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
You're raising a good one.
He's a little, yeah, he's funny because he's so emotional sometimes.
He's an empath.
But he can't take it. Like he could dish it, but he can't take it. Like
Yeah,
he's very much a Pisces in that way of
yeah.
he can be mean, but if you're mean back
Mm.
to him, oh god, it's the end.
Then it's the end of the world.
It's the end of the
Oh,
world. How dare you be so mean to him when
all
he's
right. Well, he's fun, and I, as an adult, I can sit and have a conversation with him. I'm thoroughly amused and having a good time. So
yeah.
I like him. He's good. He's good people. That one.
Thank you.
You did your job, Mama. You raised a good one.
Thank you. All right. What do we got for the closing vibe?
Um. Okay. Well, that's it. We don't have any more Mary Magdalene
Yes,
info
that's
or
that's yeah, that's our
the majority of it. Okay. All right. So she's such a badass. We can keep talking about her and all of the things and throughout all of our things because I want to know more about her.
yeah, it's gonna come up. I think more information comes up. I know there are actual like chakra balancing meditations that walk you through each one of your centers and help you release any trauma with the help of Mary Magdalene. Because again, that's
Oh.
yeah, because that's essentially what she's done, right? Is through this like the seven signs of wrath. You are incorporating or you are integrating whatever is going on in your life, and you're allowing yourself to integrate it, release it, whatever, and move beyond it. So again, like doing that through the chakra system, but calling in her help when you are opening up, like your Reiki energy is calling her in as the guide for that. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Did you read all of book number 2?
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Good.
So with that book, that is the healing powers of the healing wisdom of Mary Magdalene. And with that one, they actually go through each one of these signs that I talked about in the very beginning,
Mhm.
and spelling out exactly what the message means through each one of those signs. So if
Oh,
it's something that you're interested in, it's a good book for that.
yes, definitely, definitely. I just love her. I just think she's amazing and awesome. And until you really started looking into her, and then I had to do some research to do the artwork for
Hmm.
that episode,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh my god, she's a badass,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she should get the reverence she deserves. All right. So, I mean, the closing vibe, we were going to talk about like the Supreme Court decision, the Bible, which we've already sort of touched on that.
Hmm. A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Um, there's one thing that I came across that I want to talk about,
Okay.
but we can hit that after if we want to talk more about the Supreme Court and the
Okay.
Bible and all that stuff. Yeah, do you?
I mean, what did we expect? I mean, I
There we
these
go. End of story.
no, seriously. I mean,
No, it's
we
true.
we war. I mean, like so many of us said, like fucking. You know, first of all, it started with Clarence Thomas, and what
Yes, it did.
it did, and what was her name? Anita Baker.
Anita Baker, Clarence Thomas. Yep, he sexually perversed her, and
Wait,
yep.
is that right?
Anita, not Anita Baker. Anita, Anita Baker is a singer.
No, that's what I'm
Anita
saying.
Hill.
Anita
Anita,
Hill.
Anita Hill,
Yes.
Anita
I'm
Baker.
like,
Yeah,
Anita
she's a
Baker's the
lovely
singer.
singer.
Yeah.
She probably kicked his ass.
No, Anita Hill she tried to do.
Yep.
And then, she tried to warn us,
She
and
tried.
then it
Yep.
still didn't fucking work. And the real evil, though, it's like behind, okay, because you know that saying of like behind every great man is a great woman, blah, 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 whatever.
Yep.
How about behind every fucking evil piece of shit is an evil piece of shit woman behind it?
Yep.
Because his fucking wife, dude,
Oh, she's some garbage. Hot garbage.
like, she's up to some scary shit. She has done
Yep.
some stuff, like, and
Yep.
I just hope that it comes out because,
Yep.
yeah, I
But
don't
like you
trust that.
said, this is the beginning, right? In order for for the evil to be exposed, the moon has to shine the light on it. Yep.
Absolutely.
So right now, but it's also Kavanaugh. We fucking allowed a dirtbag onto the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Gorsuch. Lied through his teeth like the smiling devil that he is. He knew damn well he wasn't gonna. And then who's the woman? That asshole. She needs to get fucking her rewired.
Oh God, she's fucking what's her name?
Yep.
What do they call her from Handmaid's Tale? They call her what is her name? You
Damn
know,
it, I don't know. And then we gotta look this up. All right.
I know. Hold on. What is her
Yeah, I know
fucking
you got
name?
you got the Google going. Get the Google going.
What is her name? The
It's the teacher, that mean teacher, the one or the
Oh, not
lady,
Aunt
the
Lydia, because she's not even that
okay, no,
good.
Aunt Lydia. Okay.
She's
All
just
right.
complacent. She's
Yeah.
she's the wife. What is her name?
Yep. Oh, the wife of the hand. Yeah. Oh, I don't know, but I know who you're talking about, though, right?
Yes.
Now she's actually the widow. If everybody is up to date on this.
Oh, did he
All right,
die?
but here's the thing about this woman. I need to find out what her name is because she is the Supreme Court justice. The female Supreme Court justice, obviously. Here we might have to just take a cut here for a minute so we can do our what's her name? That
Serena
bitch. Hold
Joy.
on. Serena Joy. Oh, Serena. Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Hold on here. The current members of the Supreme Court. They're about to. Hold on. That fucker, Clarence Thomas. Oh God, these douchebags. Amy Coney Barrett. Okay.
Serena Joy. That's her name.
Oh yes,
That's who she is.
Serena. Oh, she was hateful from the very beginning. I obviously never liked her. But the female justice that I'm thinking of is Amy Coney Barrett. Okay.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. So
Mhm.
here's the thing, right? So of course, cultural bias is the tendency is to say, court, Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, they're dicks, but that bitch Amy Coney Barrett, she really, But I'm not going to attack the woman more than the man. But here's the issue: she is the way she is because of her Bible. And therein lies the issue because her Bible is not my Bible. Her beliefs are not my beliefs. Her
Yep.
religion is not my religion. And God damn it, she does not get the right to use all of her beliefs in order to influence and or force mine.
Yep.
And that's the problem with Amy, with all of those conservative justices. They're not there to support and enforce the law of the land or the Supreme Court or that. Right now, they're on this power trip
Yep.
to change things all within their comfort zone, their religion, based on their fucking book. And Clarence Thomas, he is another one who, he's going to tread very lightly when it comes to everything else because he forgets how that it was illegal for him to be married to that asshole Ginny, even 20 years ago in certain parts of the US. So fuck him because where is he going with this? Because he's not going to support. He can't support making interracial marriage illegal again because then he's out of compliance with the law.
Right.
These assholes on the Supreme Court, their next target is going to be gay marriage.
Yeah.
It's going to be taking more civil liberties away from people of color. Like, Where are they going with this? That's what I don't get.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't I don't get it, but and it's just a shame that we've come this far and it's like we still have not learned of,
Nope.
like, you can't just put conservative people in power and then expect them to just respect everyone else's
Nope.
beliefs. Like, it just doesn't work that way. I don't understand.
Nope.
Isn't that the opposite of being conservative? Isn't like by conserving something, like, you're keeping it the same way, but now you're changing it back to, like, I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really don't. I don't understand. I just know that it pisses me off, and that I know for a lot of people it made them very sad. Especially those of us who have children, because we realize, like, oh, we've brought children into now this world, into this fucking society. Um, but on that same token, yes, we have brought children into this society, but we are also the ones that get to raise them.
Yeah.
And so who are we raising, and what are we teaching them, and then what example are we giving, what example are we putting out there, um what are we doing, like,
Yep.
how, what's the action plan? We gotta do something.
Okay, so now and then let's look at this from an empath point of view, right? Because I am that empath who is like, this isn't right, this isn't right, this is mean. What's happening? What is happening with this world? I truly believe that I'm a star seed. I'm from, a different cosmos, right here on Earth.
Mhm.
Than here on Earth. But one thing that's been consistent throughout my life as an empath is that I see certain situations or feel things and I'm like, that's not right, that's not
Yeah.
how that's supposed to be. So when you look at this from a spiritual aspect, everything is as how it's supposed to be. Again, going back to your reference of, you have to shine the light on the dark in order to,
Mhm.
um, you know. So there is an astrologer out there. Her name is Tracy Ann, and her handle, I think this is Twitter, is at Tropicana Trey, and she's got this post out there. On Instagram, she's Goddess Infusions. She's, I haven't followed her a long time. I just saw this post and I was like, oh my God. And I would love to get her on an episode to talk about this post. Basically, what she says is, um, she starts out with, y'all remember the grand conjunction with Jupiter and Saturn? How could you forget? It almost seems like you forgot. And then she goes through, she's like, well, maybe the powers didn't fully activate for you. Maybe something wasn't revealed. But basically, she says, we have to be patient. She said, everything that's happening is happening, but she's looking out like all through for the next, 6, 7 years through 2030. So
Yeah.
she's saying, um, you know, a new phase. We're in a new phase, a new chapter. It's the birth. And so we're just at the very beginning. There's how is this Jupiter and Saturn cycle going to play out over the next
Uh-huh.
couple of years? There's a grand conjunction that happened in 2020. In 2023, there's a waxing crescent, which is going to support a breakthrough to a new spiritual level. In 2024, there's going to be conflict and struggle, but we're going to learn how to use that
Okay.
for communication and understanding of each other. 2025, she talks about a self realized individual rises from the waters of life, embracing new understandings and awareness of light. And with it, that brings with it a strong urge to release old societal beliefs. So
Mm.
that energy is coming, supported by the astrology. In 2026, there's um, a possible explosive outburst from stressors of social pressure. I hope it's that women finally rise the fuck up and burn everything the fuck down, because
Yep.
that's one thing I don't understand. Why are women not protesting? Why are we not gathering? Why are women not a little bit more action focused on this thing? But, divine timing, divine. And then it says, The collective urge to reclaim freedom while accessing a profound state of spiritual consciousness. That happens in August of 2026 with through a waxing moon. Um, and then 2029 and 2030, she speaks to transformation as we collectively and socially raise ourselves to the level where we are the ones who decide and determine what will occur. New oppositions are illuminated through a self determined creative mind. And then she closes it all out with November of 2030 with on the full moon. Um, Dipping deeper in order to find the ultimate truth and incorporating a new level of group consciousness. And so the question is, are you still playing by the rules or trying to win at all costs? So I encourage everybody to find her. Again, she's Tracy Ann at Tropicana Trey on Twitter. And on Instagram, she's Goddess Infusions. And that, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's like a 10 slide post.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And I saw that the other day and I was like, okay, okay, girl, I see you. I see
Yeah.
you. So potentially we're headed in the right direction. It's just, damn, right now it's just messed up, messed up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first thing you have to do is, I guess, you have to be out with the problem. You have to be aware of the problem before you can fix it. Um, and then, yeah, it's taking accountability for, yeah, what are you doing? One thing that has did not help and didn't help us get here is the willful ignorance or just straight up apathy of like, oh, I don't have to vote. It doesn't
Yep.
affect, yeah, it doesn't affect me or whatever. I don't care. I don't care about politics. I don't have time for it or whatever. Yeah, you don't have fucking
Mm-hmm.
time for it until it has time for you, until it has time to
Yep.
affect you or, or someone you care about. And then, so you have to make time for it.
Yep.
We live, you don't live in a society just by yourself. You are participating in a society and you need to contribute your part to it. And whether
Amen, sister.
regardless of your belief, like if I personally don't believe in abortion for my body, that does not define that I mean that for everyone else. No, I think it's, and that's where somebody has said that people shouldn't be called what are the anti-abortion people called?
Pro-life or pro-choice.
Thank you. That they shouldn't be called pro-life, they should be called anti-choice, because that's really
Okay.
what they're
Yeah.
doing. Because it's not, because they don't give a shit about life. Like they don't, once you get to that point of that baby being born, they don't give two fucks. Like there's
Nope.
all these children in the foster system, there's
Yep.
all these children without parents, but children being abused because they can't
Yep.
properly be taken care of.
How about kids in the cages? Are those kids still in the cages down there in Texas? Like,
We don't even talk about that stuff anymore.
nope.
Yeah.
Nope. And those babies are still in cages. Like, what?
Yeah,
It's,
they're still being
yeah.
detained. Yeah, they're still down there. Yes.
Ugh.
So, yeah, it's not about being pro-life. It's about not giving somebody the choice, and also the people that it affects too, because it doesn't affect people who have money. It doesn't affect people
No.
who can just leave the state and go get an abortion somewhere where it's legal. It's people with lesser means, people who can't afford to have a child, so
Yeah.
therefore they can also just not afford to just take a quick fucking vacation or whatever to go get an abortion. That doesn't work for everyone.
There was a 10-year
Um,
old girl in Ohio who was denied an abortion. She was raped and she was denied an abortion because of those douchebags in Ohio are like, no, this is a sanctity of life. We value life. Fuck you. No, you don't. You value the fetus, the cellular mass over that 10-year-old little girl who
yeah,
was also traumatized. But the beauty of this is that pretty much thousands of people rallied up and they're like, oh no, fuck you. Like
yeah,
they got that little girl across the
yeah.
border to get her abortion.
And that's what it comes down to, really.
It does. It
It's
does.
waking people up to be part of a community again, the way that we're supposed to be. Not
Yep.
not in a community full of judgment and a separation of, oh, well, you look different from me or you believe this different than me or whatever. Like fuck all. Like, we live
Mhm.
here, we are participating, and we're going to help each other out. And that's the
That's
beauty
what
of
it's
it. And
supposed to be.
that's what it's supposed to be. And
That is.
yeah.
That's the life path and the purpose of the empath, the star seed, the light worker, is to come here and through all of the earth's ascension and awakening and the tumultuous sort of transition into a united consciousness. It all that shit gets kicked up, right? Uh, Protests and just all this stuff, and it's the job of the light worker to do exactly what you just said.
Hmm.
Remember that we are love, we are community, and it's hard. Oh my god, I'm not that light worker who's like love your brother, because you know me, I'm like fuck them. They must be brought to justice, right?
Right. Yeah.
My job is to make sure that everybody uses their intuitive abilities, and they stand in their power, in order to do their light worker lovey jobs. So,
Yeah. All right.
okay, I think we've successfully vibed out
Yes.
the closer. We've closed out the vibe. Um, well, you can find us on all the socials under Esoterics Podcast, and be sure to join our Facebook community, the Esoterics community. Just to get in all on all the goodness about services, events, courses, intuitive development tips, card pulls, free meditations, all that good stuff.
Thank you guys again for listening today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you haven't done so, please leave us a review on Apple iTunes, on Apple Podcasts. It really helps
Please.
our community and our podcast grow. And as always, stay mystical, magical, and ready to do it again next time.
Bye.